So welcome to the first episode of our new video series, what I call Classroom, where we actually do somewhat how-to repair videos. I have a 2018 Dodge Journey here with a 3.6 liter, I believe. Needs a thermostat and inspection. So I figured, why not do a video on the thermostat? I've never done one on this. So I'm going to figure it out and we're going to learn together as I go. So let me get the camera set up and we will get right after this and go through it step by step of what I'm doing. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do is remove the cover and locate said thermostat. I'll be honest, I have no idea what this was doing. There was nothing under it, so okay, cool. Neat trick. Alright, so let's see what we got here. And alright, so I see it right here on the front side. So I was able to track it down pretty easily by just looking at the upper radiator hose and following it back to the block. What we have here is a one-piece full assembly. So let me go ahead and get the new one out and we'll go. Alright, I have the new thermostat here. This is what they call a one-piece thermostat assembly. Traditionally, this section here, the actual thermostat, would be separate from this housing. Nowadays it seems they're starting to make one singular unit out of it. So the way this works is, you'll see there's a 95C here. That's the temperature rating that when the fluid gets up to 95 degrees Celsius, which is I believe 185 Fahrenheit, or is this a 210? I'd have to do the math. I don't know. I don't do Celsius. What happens when it gets to that temperature, this metal in here actually is, you'll notice it's a different color. It actually reacts to heat at different temperature than the other metal. So what happens is that will force this to contract in and pull this plunger back out. That's why there's a spring, because as it cools off, the spring will actually push it back into place. So it'll hold it shut right now, and then when this heats up, it'll pull back and it'll overcome the tension of the spring, opening this chamber up and allowing your coolant to flow through. So that's how you regulate it at temperature, because you don't want fluid to go through the whole system until it gets to X amount of temperature. Hope that made sense. I'm not a teacher, but we're trying. So let's go ahead and get some fluid out, get the old one off, and get this swapped out. Alright, so I'm going to do the best I can to show what's going on here. So the proper way to do this would be to go down, open the petcock on the radiator, drain enough fluid out so that we're below this level on the radiator. I like to dance the beat of my own drum. So what we're going to do here is open up the radiator cap and drop the camera all over the place. Alright, so we cracked that open. We got the air bleeder there cracked open to allow the fluid to come out here. Because what that's going to do is that's only going to let out fluid up to this point of the engine. We're going to let that drain, and I'm going to get the camera repositioned, so bear with me. Alright, so we've gotten to the position, or we've gotten to the point where we're stopped right here. That means anything above this point in the engine has been drained out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the clamp off the radiator hose, pull it back. Let's see how hot this is. Ooh, it's still a little warm. We're going to pull the radiator hose back. We're going to elevate the hose up above the radiator so that whatever's in the radiator stays trapped in the radiator. And then whatever's in the engine up to this level will be all drained out through there and into the drain pan in the bottom. Alright, so they sell hose clamp pliers for these. I have a pair of hose clamp pliers in my box, but mine don't work all that good. So this regular pair of channel locks will do in most cases. Assuming you can get them in there. Woo! So what I'm going to want to do is rebite it so that I can move this down over this portion of the radiator, because that nipple only comes out to right here. So if I can get the clamp to sit over the nipple, which may be asking too much. All right, there we go. Now I can work this hose off. Woo! It's always good to make a little mess. It's alright, I'm sure that belt's going to love that glycol. What we'll do after is we'll rinse all this down with water to make sure that it doesn't affect anything. Because we have the AC clutch and the belt under it, so. Alright, let me grab a 10mm wrench and loosen her up. Alright, so anybody that knows me knows I don't particularly like to wear gloves, but there's one thing that I dislike more than wearing gloves. It is feeling a glycol in your hands. It's a very, leaves a very slimy, sticky residue, and I don't like it. So we're going to take the top bolt out, put that off to the side, and the bottom bolt may be a little tricky. It looks like it's in a funky spot. That will be a little tricky. I believe this keep well is going to be too long, but let's give it a shot. Yep, definitely too long. Alright, so we have a short well, a 1/4-inch drive with a deep well ratchet, which who's not going to get us all the way there, but loosen it up some, get as much as we can out of it, and then see what we can make happen. Alright, I think we're turning by hand. Let's see if I can get in there with this. If not, the next step will be going to get, oh yeah, we're turning. Well, that sucks. We'll have to fish that out before we're done. Alright, crack that open, let the rest of that fluid come on out. Oh, I'm starting to wish I would have done it the right way and drained it out, but so we didn't make such a big mess. But that's alright. It's not going to kill nothing. If I were to do anything different so far, I would have definitely used took the bottom one out first and left the easier one to get one in. Because this would be a lot easier if this housing wasn't jumping around while I was trying to take this bolt out. Alright. Make sure we got the old gasket out. Make sure the face is clean. Yeah, there's nothing on it. New seal is properly inserted into the groove. We're going to get the top bolt in. We're just going to snug it down by hand, just so that the thermostat housing doesn't bounce around. There we go. And then we'll get the other bolt started on the bottom. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, this is why I don't like wearing gloves, because it's hard to really feel and do it by feel. All right, let me get my magnet. Let's fish out our socket. All right, let's Pro tip of the day, if you don't have one of these flashlight magnets, get one. I want to look to upgrade to one that's rechargeable instead of batteries, but this ring around the magnet there, the magnet around the light there, really makes things easier. All right, so just rinsed everything off with warm water, got all that stuff off the belt and all that goodness. We are going to top off the fluid now. We're going to top off this fluid, crack that bleeder, get as much as we can to come up through that bleeder. Close it up, run it, let it warm up. Then we'll crack this bleeder to let any air escape that might be trapped in there. So here we go, let's get this done. Now this is pre-diluted. Let me verify that before I... Yes, pre-diluted, so this means it's ready to pour straight in. Usually I get concentrate, however, this requires OAT fluid, and I didn't get universal. I actually got the fluid that it calls for, and they didn't have it in concentrate. They only had it in pre-diluted, so we're gonna run pre-diluted. Oh, luckily we didn't waste that much fluid, so this should work out just fine. Play what size Allen wrench game. And of course I could walk over and get an actual fresh pack, but I got all these randoms in this jug right next to me. Why would I do that? Apologize if this video is rambling on, but if you're here this long, you probably should have cracked this free before we put it on, but that's all right. Where's the fun in that? All right, so I cracked it free. I got fluid coming out of the hole now. So we're gonna tighten her back up, start it up, and see what happens. Let's get all of our stuff off the engine bay. We don't want anything accidentally falling in, causing problems. So I'm gonna leave the cap off for the moment so the system doesn't pressurize. Alright, so now I'm just letting it warm up and inspecting for any leaks on anything I touch. Everything appears to be holding at the moment. When everything's said and done, we'll give it one more rinse. All right, so fluid is up to temp. I just shut it down, cracked the bleeder one more time to make sure no air came out. It was all straight fluid. Tighten that back up, capped this back off, rinsed everything off with warm water. We're gonna put the cover on. I'm gonna take it for a test drive and we're gonna send it. So hopefully this was useful. Hopefully you got something from this. If you did, and feel free to come back and check out some more. Hit that subscribe button. All right. Well, I guess my usual outro is not gonna work here. So be safe and have fun fixing.